Theresa Caputo is in court, facing serious charges against Larry Caputo. Theresa Caputo, known as the Long Island Medium, has taken legal action against her ex-husband Larry Caputo. According to the complaint, Larry deeded all his property to his second wife, Connie Terry, but did not give any property to Theresa. Angered by this, Theresa has approached the court. In light of the case, Larry Caputo is now in fear of arrest by the police and is planning to flee the country. Theresa Caputo, the famed Long Island medium, was no stranger to the unseen world. Spirits whispered to her in hushed tones, guiding her through the mysteries of life and death. But nothing could have prepared her for the betrayal she felt in the realm of the living. After years of silence following her divorce from Larry Caputo, Theresa learned through a mutual friend, and a gut feeling she couldn't ignore, that Larry had quietly transferred all of his assets to his new wife, Connie Terry. Not a dime or deed was left for Theresa, despite promises made during the separation. "I may speak to spirits, but I still live in the real world," she told her lawyer with steely eyes. The betrayal wasn't about money. It was about dignity, fairness, and justice. Filing a complaint in court, Theresa demanded her rightful share. News broke quickly, painting a sensational picture: the Long Island medium against her ex-husband in a high-stakes legal showdown. Larry, caught off guard and unprepared, panicked. Rumors swirled that he had forged certain documents. Whispered threats of arrest sent him spiraling. Connie urged him to stay, but Larry had already booked a one-way ticket to the Cayman Islands under a fake name, Lorenzo C. The night before his planned departure, Theresa had a dream. A woman in white visited her, quiet, sad, and trembling. "He's running," the spirit said. But the truth always follows. The next morning, Larry's name hit the no-fly list. At the airport, as he tried to board his flight, officers approached him calmly. "Mr. Caputo?" He turned, heart pounding. "We need to have a word with you." Back in court, Theresa stood tall. The battle wasn't over, but for once, she felt the spirits weren't the only ones who had her back. However, it was a quiet, sunny afternoon when John Ratzenberger, the beloved actor known for his roles in Cheers and Pixar films, walked into the serene space of Theresa Caputo's studio. He had never really believed in the supernatural, but after a recent series of strange events in his life, John decided to give it a chance. Theresa greeted him with her usual warmth, her bright eyes sparkling with an intuitive energy. She could sense something heavy on John's heart, though she had yet to know what. "John, it's so nice to meet you," Theresa said, guiding him to a comfortable chair. "I can already feel a presence around you. Let's see who's trying to connect." John chuckled nervously, his palms sweating slightly. He was a man of logic, a person who liked to think things through. But something about Theresa's gentle demeanor and the peaceful environment made him curious. As Theresa closed her eyes and focused, she began speaking softly. "There's a male energy, strong, proud. I'm sensing a father figure. Someone who held a position of authority or had a big presence in your life." John's heart skipped a beat. His father, whom he had always admired, had passed away many years ago. He had never quite dealt with the grief, always burying it beneath his work and responsibilities. Theresa continued, "I'm hearing something. I'm proud of you, John. I always knew you had it in you. Does that resonate with you?" Tears welled up in John's eyes as the floodgates of emotion opened. It had been so long since he had felt his father's presence. He nodded, barely able to speak. "Yes," he whispered. "It's him. It's my dad." Theresa smiled softly, her voice comforting. "He's here with you now, John. He's watching over you, proud of everything you've achieved, and he wants you to know that it's okay to let go of the weight you've been carrying. You've done more than enough." John couldn't hold back anymore. A single tear rolled down his cheek, and the dam inside him finally broke. He had been running on autopilot for so long, never allowing himself to truly grieve. But now, sitting in that small room with Theresa, The connection to his father brought all the emotions he had been suppressing to the surface. Theresa let the silence hang in the air, giving him the space he needed. She had seen this many times before, people holding on to their grief, unsure how to let go. But she could see that John was beginning to heal, bit by bit. After a long pause, John spoke, his voice trembling but filled with a sense of peace. "Thank you. I didn't expect this. This was more than I could have imagined." Theresa nodded, her eyes kind. Sometimes, the most unexpected connections are the ones that heal us the most. Your father is proud of you, John, and you're not alone in this journey. As John left the studio that afternoon, he felt lighter. The emotional weight he had been carrying for so long seemed a little less heavy. The words from Theresa and the unexpected visit from his father would stay with him, a reminder that no matter how far we go, our loved ones are always with us, in ways we may not understand. And for the first time in years, John felt like he could breathe a little easier. However, on a quiet evening in Long Island, the lights dimmed inside a modest theater packed with hopeful hearts. People sat clutching photos, letters, and trinkets of loved ones long gone. The curtain rose to reveal Theresa Caputo, hair high and energy even higher, ready to bridge the gap between this world and the next. Among the audience was Maya, a young woman from Queens who hadn't smiled properly in 2 years, not since her father had died in a sudden accident. Her grief was silent and heavy, like an old coat she couldn't take off. She didn't believe in mediums, not. Something about Theresa's warmth had pulled her in. As Theresa walked the aisle, her eyes suddenly locked with Maya's. "There's a man standing right behind you," she said. "He's wearing a Yankees cap, and he just said, 'Pumpkin, stop blaming yourself.'" Maya froze. Her father had called her Pumpkin since she was 3, and she had blamed herself for insisting he come to her art show that stormy night. "He says he wouldn't have missed your show for anything," Theresa continued, voice soft. "He's proud of you. He saw every piece." Tears streamed down Maya's face. It felt like 1,000 pounds lifted from her chest. Later that night, Maya sat alone under a streetlight, staring at the stars. For the first time since her father died, she didn't feel alone. Theresa's words weren't just a reading, they were a rebirth. However, Robert had always been skeptical about the afterlife. A practical man, he believed in what he could see, touch, and prove. But when he was diagnosed with a terminal illness, something shifted inside him. As the days dwindled, he found himself craving a kind of peace that science couldn't offer. That's when he booked a session with Theresa Caputo, the Long Island medium. Theresa greeted him warmly at her cozy, candlelit studio in Hicksville. Her voice, a mix of Long Island sass and maternal warmth, calmed Robert immediately. He confessed everything, his doubts, his fears, and most of all, his deep regret over never reconciling with his late brother Daniel. Theresa closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "Robert, your brother's already here," she said softly. "He says you've been carrying guilt that doesn't belong to you." Robert's eyes welled up. "He says the fight wasn't your fault. He knew you loved him, even when you didn't say it, and he forgives you." The air in the room changed. Robert felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted. "But there's more," Theresa continued. "There are people waiting for you on the other side, and they want you to know you don't need to be afraid. You're going home." For the first time in months, Robert smiled, not from happiness, but from peace. The session ended quietly. As Robert stepped out into the cool evening, he felt ready, not for death exactly, but for what came next. However, it was a cloudy Sunday afternoon in Long Island, and the scent of sea salt lingered in the air. Theresa Caputo adjusted her bracelets as she walked into the small, sunlit living room where her next client waited, a woman in her mid-30s named Eliza. She sat nervously, clutching a photo of a man in a Mets cap. Theresa sat down, her voice calm but direct. "Eliza," she said, "there's a man coming through with a strong energy. He's showing me a baseball glove. Was your dad into sports? Eliza's eyes welled up. Yes, he used to play catch with me every evening until he passed when I was 8. Theresa nodded. He's telling me he never missed a game of yours, even after he passed. He's saying, "Tell my girl I'm proud of her curveball." Does that mean something? Eliza laughed through her tears. I pitched in college. I had the best curveball on the team. Theresa smiled. He's also showing me a pink bike. Training wheels, scraped knee. I fell and he carried me home. He called me his warrior princess. Theresa's voice softened. That's exactly what he's calling you now. He says you grew up strong, even though you were hurting inside. And he wants to talk about the letter. Eliza's hands trembled. What letter? Theresa tilted her head. He says you wrote it last year, Father's Day. You never sent it, but he read every word. Eliza reached into her purse and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. I wrote it, but I couldn't bring myself to leave it at the cemetery. Theresa closed her eyes. He says he's been waiting for this moment. He wants you to know he never really left. When you hear that song, what is it, Paul Simon, Father and Daughter? That's his sign, every time. Eliza gasped. I heard it on the radio this morning. I thought of him. He was with you in the car. He's always riding shotgun, Theresa said with a grin. He's also showing me a locket. Did you wear something of his? Eliza touched her necklace. His wedding ring. I wear it around my neck. Theresa's eyes softened. He says thank you. He says you've given him the gift of being remembered. And he wants to give you peace. He's proud of who you've become. And he's still your biggest fan. Eliza wiped her tears and smiled. For the first time in years, the ache in her chest felt lighter. She didn't just believe she knew. Her father had never truly left. However, Theresa Caputo walked into a quaint cafe on Long Island, guided by a strong energy she couldn't shake since waking up that morning. Her fingers tingled, the way they always did when spirit was near. She scanned the room, eyes landing on a young woman sitting alone by the window, nervously stirring her coffee. Without hesitation, Theresa approached her. Hi, sweetheart. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm Theresa. I know who you are, the woman said, eyes wide. Is someone with me? Theresa nodded, gently taking the seat across from her. He says his name is Daniel. He passed very suddenly, and in a very tragic way. Was there an accident involving a building? Tears welled up in the woman's eyes. My brother. He was a maintenance worker. The elevator, it malfunctioned. He got crushed. Theresa's voice softened. He's showing me a metal space. Tight, loud noises, panic, but then peace. He says it happened so fast, he didn't feel pain the way you think. The woman sobbed quietly. He was only 30. We never got to say goodbye. Theresa nodded. He's been with you, especially when you leave your apartment. He says he flickers the hallway lights so you know he's there. She paused. He's also holding up a little gold watch. Did he give that to you? The woman pulled out a chain, revealing a tiny gold timepiece. He gave it to me the day before he died. Said time was precious. Theresa smiled warmly. He wants you to know he's okay. He's proud of how you've handled things, and he says, tell her she's stronger than she knows. The cafe fell silent as the spirit's presence slowly faded. The woman wiped her tears and looked out the window, where a gentle breeze stirred the leaves. For the first time in months, she felt her brother's love not just as a memory, but as something alive. However, it was a sunny afternoon in Hicksville, Long Island, and Theresa Caputo was setting up for a special session, one unlike any she had ever done before. The room was filled with soft coos and the scent of baby lotion. Across from her sat a young couple, Sarah and Mark, holding their 7-month-old daughter, Lily. Okay, Theresa said, flipping her long blonde hair over her shoulder. So, I know this is a little different, but spirit doesn't care about age. If someone has something to say, they'll find a way. Mark looked skeptical. Sarah looked hopeful. Lily chewed on a teething ring and babbled softly. Theresa closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Oh, okay. Wow, this energy is pure. It's tiny but strong, like a little firefly. She opened her eyes, staring at Lily. She's got an old soul, this one. Lily stopped chewing, her eyes locked with Theresa's. I'm getting something. She's saying she chose you, before she was even born. Sarah gasped. I had a miscarriage before Lily. We weren't sure we could even try again. Theresa nodded. She's saying she waited. She waited her turn. She was with you the whole time. Watching, comforting. She says she came back stronger. Mark leaned forward. Wait, are you saying Lily is? Theresa smiled. Same soul, new body. She's got memories you won't even believe. I see her trying to talk in dreams. She keeps showing me blue butterflies. Sarah burst into tears. That's the wallpaper in her nursery. My mom picked it out before she passed. Theresa put a hand to her heart. Your mom is here too. She's saying, tell my baby I'm proud of her baby. And Lily, she feels that love. That's why she giggles when she's alone in the crib. She's not alone. Suddenly, Lily let out a happy shriek and clapped her tiny hands. Theresa laughed. Yup, that's a confirmation if I ever saw one. The room felt lighter, peaceful. As the session ended, Theresa smiled at the baby. You're gonna do big things, sweetheart. But for now, just keep spreading that light. And with that, the Long Island medium had once again bridged two worlds, this time through the eyes of a child who hadn't yet spoken her first word, but had already said so much. However, Theresa Caputo stood before the group, her familiar blonde hair teased to perfection, and her nails glinting under the soft lights of the small Long Island Community Center. The chairs were arranged in a loose semicircle, filled with people carrying grief, hope, and curiosity. But sitting in the back, arms crossed and brow furrowed, was her toughest client yet, her own father, Salvatore Caputo. He'd always been skeptical of her gift. It's just guessing, he'd say. Cold reading, nothing more. But after years of gentle urging from Theresa and a little curiosity he wouldn't admit, he finally agreed to sit in on one of her group readings. Theresa cleared her throat. Okay, spirit's coming in strong today, she said, her voice lilting with familiarity. I'm feeling a male energy, a grandfather figure. Military, strict, but loving deep down. Hands went up. Theresa focused on a woman in her 50s. He's talking about a gold pocket watch? The woman gasped. My grandpa gave me one before he died. More validations followed. Initials, songs, favorite phrases, spirit after spirit came through, offering healing and love. Theresa felt the room warm with the soft embrace of connection. Then suddenly she stopped. Her eyes widened. This is strange, she said. I'm being pulled to the back. Really strong energy. This one's for my dad. Salvatore shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Come on, Theresa, he muttered. Not me. She stepped closer. It's a woman. Very strong personality. She's showing me a rolling pin. Cooking every Sunday, she says. Tell my stubborn son I still watch over him. Salvatore blinked. She says, you still don't cook the sauce right, by the way. The room chuckled. Salvatore didn't. She's showing me her ring. The one you keep in your drawer, hidden away. She says it's okay to wear it now. You don't need to feel guilty. Salvatore's face softened. Slowly, he reached into his coat pocket. He pulled out a delicate gold ring. My mother's, he said quietly. I brought it today. Don't know why. Theresa smiled gently. She does. There was a long pause. Then Salvatore nodded, the first true acceptance shiny in his eyes. Maybe, just maybe, she wasn't guessing after all. Hello lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Mina, hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel.